my little flower pots. Good evening. This is the Green Lambkin podcast. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and welcome and thank you for trying me out if you are new. My name's Suzanne. I'm from Derbyshire in the United Kingdom. I'm a knitter, crocheter, spinner, indie dyer, pattern designer, stitch marker maker, all sorts. Basically, you name it, I'll try it. You can find me in various places. On Ravelry, I'm Green Lambkin. On Instagram, I'm Green Lambkin. And on Etsy and Facebook, you can find me as Green Lambkin Yarns. Now, thank you for your patience if you've been waiting for me to podcast. I'm sorry, I have had rather a long hiatus for various reasons. First of all, we went on holiday. Then, after the holiday, I was ill, which was awful. And then after that, we've had a string of various stressful events in our family. Nothing terrible. There has been some illness, which did worry me at times, but that's fine. Everybody's okay now. And there have been other... I'm not going to go into them, but things that have been taking up an awful lot of my time, energy, brain capacity, have left me very scattered, very exhausted, because stress triggers my fibromyalgia, and then I'm good for nothing. So I've had to prioritise the family and daily life and work and all the things we have to do, which is why I haven't been here for a while. I sincerely apologise. I have kept going with social media, but it's been all I could do to do that, really. So I'm sorry, and I'm really glad that you've borne with me and patiently waited for me to return. So this is episode 16. It's been about a month, perhaps slightly more, since last time I podcasted. Excuse me, I'm just getting comfortable. Sorry, just messages flicking up on the screen and distracting me. But I've got lots and lots to share with you. So I'm going to get on. I'm going to share with you some finished objects, some half objects, some works in progress, some acquisitions, and some lovely Green Lambkin goodies. So let me have a sip of coffee. And I'll get right into it. So last time I spoke, it was just before we went on holiday. And Ivy, if you recall, if you're a returning viewer, my little girl Ivy asked me to knit a dress for her dolly, Holly Hope. It's an Our Generation doll, which is similar to an American Girl doll, if you're in the States. Now, she knew I was doing this dress, and she decided that the Monday that we went away on holiday, and we went on the Saturday, was going to be the doll's birthday, and she wanted to give the dress as a present. So she imposed a deadline on me, and I got it finished. So I've bought the dress, and I've taken it off the dolly for now to show you, because it's a lot easier. So here it is. And it's knitted in opal sock yarn. Now, I'm sorry, if I hadn't have sat down and got on with it tonight, it would have been another lost opportunity to podcast, and I'm so frustrated that I just grabbed everything I need and I'm winging it, flying by the seat of my pants to get this done. Haven't made any notes, haven't written down any colourways, so I'm working from memory. But if there's anything you want to know about, I'm very easy to get hold of on Instagram, very easy to get hold of on Facebook, very easy to get hold of on Ravelry. I check all my message boxes regularly. Ask me, just message me. I would welcome you with open arms, and I will answer you as quickly as I can. So this is an opal sock yarn, and it's the one, I don't know if you're going to be... Oh, you can see it a little bit. There is some sparkle in here. And this skirt's got a garter stitch hem on it, and I did block it, but it's a little bit curly wavy. Ivy doesn't mind that. It's got the garter stitch edging around the neckline and the sleeve. It's lovely double increase, lacy double increase there. It's got a sort of a gathered empire line. It's not very obvious but on screen, but it is lovely. And then it's got this welt in the back, which has 4 see-through popper fastenings. And when it's done up and on the dolly, it looks very neat indeed. So this was done and this was wrapped up for the dolly's birthday, and we all sang happy birthday to her, and she opened her present. And with the dress, unbeknownst to Ivy, excuse the rude dolly, was a pair of matching knick-knocks. Oh, I had such fun knitting these. Look, they've got lacy pattern at the front, like pointel. Is that what it's called, pointel? Yeah, I think so. And then at the back, I don't know if you can see this. Yes, you can. There is short row shaping for the bottom. Now, I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of the designers for these. I will do a project page for Ravelry. I'll try and take a photo and do that before, after I finish podcasting. But in the pattern, it really made me laugh. This section here with the short row shaping is referred to as the derriere shaping. But Ivy was tickled pink by the fact that the dolly has got some matching pants. But I'm going to do some more of these in different yarns. They were a really nice little pattern to knit. And I've still got enough of this yarn. Such generous yardage. I've still got enough of that yarn to knit probably a pair of socks for Cos if I just do contrasting heels and toes or whatever. So that was the first. So really it's 2 faux, but I consider it one because, you know, it's all part of the same thing really. So then the second FO is an FO with a little bit of an irksome problem. I think you'll recall that last time I spoke to you, I was knitting socks, Christmas socks for Ives, and I have now finished them. So this is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply, which is the BFL blend base. Very scrunchy and yummy. I can't remember the name of the colourway, but it's part of the Sweet Shop range. And then the main body of the socks is Green Lambkin yarns in the Candy Cane Forest colourway. This is a Christmas colourway, so hence the Christmas socks. I'm trying to knit a pair of socks for each of them for their birthday and for Christmas this year. I've already done Cossy's birthday socks, done Ivy's Christmas socks. Well, I say I've done them. I measured carefully. I don't usually count rounds these days because I'm usually quite good at measuring. So I measured carefully at each juncture and still managed to knit one sock shorter than the other. So I'm going to undo the toe, I'm going to rejoin the Candy Cane Forest and knit the 6 or so rows extra that need to be on there, and then redo the toe. And even then, I'm slightly concerned that by Christmas time, these are not going to fit the child. I'm sorry, I'm leaning on the table and wobbling you. She's growing at such a rate, I don't know if they're going to be big enough for her. Need to measure them. I mean, there is actually quite a lot of length in there. She's 7. She's not 8 until October. And she wears an adult size 5 shoe. She's quite narrow, so these are a 56 stitch sock with a 1x1 twisted rib, traditional slip stitch heel flap, rounded heel shaping, gusset decreases, and traditional double decrease toe. I do find this is the best fit for our foot. She's got very similar feet to me, quite high in step, and it does tend to work out quite well. But I'm a bit, as I say, more than a little bit concerned about whether or not these are going to fit her come Christmas time. So, you know, maybe I need to increase the length of both of them a little bit more. I don't know. I'll measure them against some shoes, see what I think. Okay, so that's the other finished object. Oh, no, it's not. Here's the last one. My old lanyard for work. Well, let's start this properly. I've got a new job, and as part of my new job I needed a new ID badge, which I'm not going to show you for obvious reasons. But with the new ID badge came a new shiny lanyard. I'm not very fussed with it really, not very posh, but I thought, oh well, it's a clean new one, so I may as well use it. And we have to have like a safety snap feature on them in case anybody grabs hold of them. So after a couple of days of wearing said lanyard, I discovered that the safety clasp feature was defective, and it kept coming undone whilst I was trying to go about my daily work and dropping on the floor, and I was at risk of losing my ID badge, which is not good at all. So I'd got another lanyard which was very dirty and manky. However, it had got very good hardware on it, so one of these D-clips for the attaching to the ID badge, and then a really nice sturdy snap fitting. And I really like the length of this one as well. It just hangs so that it doesn't get caught on the desk when I'm working things. And so I had a flash of inspiration, as you do. I measured exactly the right length, and then I used some perlé cotton in various colours to just crochet myself a new length of broad tape. And then I used invisible like poly thread to sew it all together. And here's a little new acquisition. I don't know if I'm going to be able to... Oh yeah, I can. Trying to get it to show you. Oh dear, Suzanne. Do it without reflecting too much. That is a ball of yarn and knitting needles with kitty ears. And it's a Punky Pins enamel pin badge. I got another one as well, and it's quite a popular one, and it's the one that says pro-choice, pro-feminism, pro-cats. I'm sure you've all seen it, but I will show you it on another one, but it was on my other bag and I couldn't be bothered to go back and fetch it. So that's my other finished object. Only a little thing, but it pleases me because I'm simple. So, the hoe. And this is also part of a new acquisition as well. I'm friends on Instagram with the lovely Faye from the Bee and Rose podcast and yarn shop of the same name. And she started, oh, dearie me, I'm mid-row. Round even. That's not like me. Anyway. She started experimenting with dyeing self-striping yarns, which is something that is on the cards for me as well. I'm sacking myself up for it at the moment. Anyway, she posted a picture showing some which she'd done with leftover bits of dye that she'd got hanging around, and she didn't like the colours, but she liked the effect. And I said, what do you mean you don't like the colours? I love them. This is the ball. And she said, PM me address, I'll send it to you. I was so excited. So I did, and she did, and it came just before I went on holiday, and I started knitting a sock not long after we got back from Holes. Well, no, actually that's not true. It's only been about 2 weeks ago, actually, a bit less than that. So, and I finished one of them. This is exciting in many respects. I've applied one of mine. Oh, you're not going to be able to see it very well because of the variegation and the light in here. But I've done a rib which is 2x2 rib, and then on every fourth row, I think you can just about see it, I've twisted the stitches. Oh, that's better. So I've done a twist one right, which makes a really nice cuff, and then I knitted straight down, all the way down, and did the toe decreases, and then I did my first ever true afterthought heel, and I am flipping chuffed with myself. I cannot tell you how pleased I am. So This is when you don't put an afterthought heel line in, so you don't put any waste yarn in, you just knit, and then you determine where you want your heel to be. You decide the actual row, and you can use a stitch marker to like progress keeper to mark it or whatever, and then you use your needles to pick up the right leg of each stitch in the row above and the row below. So this is a 60 stitch sock, so I was picking up 30 stitches above the heel line and 30 stitches below. And once I've got my needles in, and I'm doing this with circular needles as well, and once I've got my needles in, on that little row of one stitch row between the two sets of picked up stitches, count to the middle, take a pair of scissors and snip one leg of that 15th stitch, and then you unpick it to the right and you unpick it to the left, and then you knit your heel, your afterthought heel. Now, I watched the excellent tutorial from Kirby Werby, which is, if you just type into the YouTube search box True Afterthought Heel tutorial, it'll be the first one that comes up. It's a fantastic white sock with neon stripes of speckled colour in it. You'll recognise it, and it's Kirby Werby. And she gave a brilliant example, tip. So when you're unpicking your stitches across that line, you don't go right to here, you actually stop 2 stitches in and leave that bit fastened up. And what that does is it keeps it really close and really tight and really neat. So normally if you were doing an afterthought heel with a waste yarn, at each side here and here, you would need to pick up and knit. I usually do 4 stitches, and then you end up with little gaps and holes, and it's very difficult. You have to knit them through the back of the loop if you want them to tighten up, get them in the right place, otherwise you get gaps. Well, because you're leaving those 2 stitches not unthreaded, unpicked, it just keeps it really close and really tight. The downside, which I didn't factor in until after I'd done it, the fact that I didn't have those 4 extra picked up stitches here and here on the other side meant that as I decreased at a faster rate. Well, no, not at a faster rate, but I had fewer stitches to decrease. I did my usual knitted 1 round plain before I started the decreases, and as we all know, Suzanne has a very deep instep, and it's not deep enough there for me really. It's a bit snug, but it's okay, because I'm going to give them to my mummy for her birthday, which makes me really happy. So next time I do a pair of socks with this, because I will do it again, I'm going to make sure that I knit probably at least 4 rounds plain here before I start. And when I'm doing this sock, I might actually do a 64 stitch sock rather than a 60 stitch sock. I'll ruminate and cogitate that one a little bit, to quote the lovely Lloyd Grossman. But yes, I think that's probably what I'm going to do. And then I just kitchened the heel. You can see it's a little bit lumpy. But it was so fast, because we all know how self-striping socks zoom off the needles. So I'm really, really happy. And honestly, Faye, I adore these. I love your self-striping yarn. It's brilliant. It was gorgeous to knit with. The fabric feels fantastic. And you need to continue to dye self-striping yarn because it's lovely. So, small raveled. So I'm on sock 2. And I only started this recently, but it's just flying off the needles. So I'm using ChiaoGoo red laces, fixed circulars, And this is a little witchy stitch marker which I made to go with them, which I thought was quite cute. And I am keeping this project in my lovely Adorky Emu bag, which I adore, which has got unicorns and things on it. And I've also got a small fox Beanie Boo attached to it, which is very cute. So that is my hoe and my first work in progress. And on to the next WIP. As I thought I was finished with Ivy's Christmas socks, I decided to immediately get going with Cosmo's Christmas socks. And he's having a pair made out of leftovers from last year's Christmas Eve cast on. Now it's living in this cute little sock project bag, which is a Christmassy one. It's got baubles and things on it. And I made this one. I made one for my mum and both my sisters last Christmas. Yes. Was it last Christmas? Yes, it was. Anyway. So that's that. And the socks I am knitting for Cosy Wozzy are from West Yorkshire Spinners. And it was their classic, it was their 2 colours of Christmas yarn combo. So this is one of the Sweet Shop range again, and this one is definitely Cherry Drop. And then this one was the Christmas one. It's not showing very nicely in this light. Looks a lot more olivey yellowy than it actually is. But this is the Hollyberry colourway, and it knits up into lovely speckledy stripes. So I knitted myself a pair, started on Christmas Eve last Christmas. And I'm fairly sure that I've got enough left here to get a pair out for Cos. So these are on Knit Pro Carbons, fixed circular, and I've just done teeny weeny little bit of ribbing, and that's one of my vintage shiny stitch markers from last Christmas that I made to go with the yarn. And I can't actually remember how many stitches I have cast on. Really? Is that all? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 24, 48 stitches. But again, I'll make them long, because he is long and quite slender. He's not slender, that's not true. He's not winnowy and wisp-like. They're both of a very sturdy build, as I was as a child, but not bulky. They're very strange, my children. They feel like they're made of lead. They're very tall and thin, but quite well made as well, if that makes sense. Not making any sense whatsoever, am I? Anyway, they don't need their socks to be wide, but they need them to be long, and they need them to have a deep instep. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm also working on another shawl, which is sort of intended to be a sample type shawl for Green Lambkin Yarns, and it's featuring, I think I told you I was going to start it on the last podcast. I've got it prepared. Oh, that's right, yes. I've got 2 skeins prepared in my lovely new bag. And I took away yarn, the Deesa's Dream yarn. What's this one? I think I've shown you this before, actually. To knit a pair of fingerless mitts for Deesa's Craftwork podcast, which I finished and sent to her whilst we were on holiday. So photos will be on the project page on Ravelry. So I finished that, and then whilst we were on holiday, I started this, and it's living in my lovely project bag by Pixie Yarn, which I bought just before we went on holiday, and I have thoroughly enjoyed using this so far. It just makes me so happy every time I use it. as do all my project bags. I cannot discriminate. I love them all. The yarn I'm using is Green Lambkin yarn, and it's the Stellina Sparkle Sock. Ooh, look how nice that's shining. And the colourway is Baby Beetroots. And the pattern that I'm using for this is the Rosewater pattern, that's right, by Janina Carlo, something like that. It's got an H in it. And the pattern was gifted to me by my lovely friend Charlotte, who is Lottie FB on Instagram, when I was having a spot of trouble with work, and my job was uncertain, and she gifted it to me to cheer me up, which was gorgeous of her. Now, another little new acquisition, which was gifted to me by my sister Laura. She started making needle cozies, and she made me one in the fabric that she made me my Silver Linings project bag out of, just little scraps that she got left over. And we got a special popper machine so that she could put these lovely snap poppers on, and it's lined with this pretty peachy sort of eggy yolk yellow fabric. And it's looking after my needles, which are my first ever interchangeable carbons, which I bought when we went to the Leeds Spring Into Wool Yarn Festival. So these are interchangeable tips, 4mm, and I also bought some new interchangeable cables, so they're a red one. And I have completed the garter stitch portion of the shawl. Now you're going to have to excuse the fact that this is a little bit scrunched up on the needles now, so it's got it's a crescent shaped shawl, and it has quite a wide, quite a wide section of garter stitch at the top, sparkle, and I have just entered the realms of the lacy portion, which is gorgeous, and I'm so enjoying knitting this very simple but very effective pattern. That's probably the wrong side that I'm showing you. There you go, that's a bit better. I'm using a little progress keeper, which I made. If I can show you that. There you go. With a little vintage glass flower bead on it. And it's working up beautifully. I'm having no issues with the pattern thus far, touch wood. And I'm just having a little hiatus from that while I knit a sock, and then I'll be back on with that one. Oh, that's such a satisfying noise and feeling. Love that. So hopefully by next week I might be back on with that, and I anticipate once I am back on with it that it won't take me that long to finish, because I'm enjoying it so much. So that's that one. Now the final work in progress. It's really, really irritating. I made a really stupid mistake, basically. And I know I'll be happy when it's done, because I want the finished object. But what I did was, some time ago, I saw a jumper that I really liked. I really liked it. I saw the sample of it. I saw it hanging. I saw the drape and the effect. And I thought, gosh, I'd wear that a lot if I had it. I'd wear it a lot if I had it in black. So I bought the yarn and I bought the pattern. And I thought about how much I would like the finished object, the product. And I didn't think about the process and how much I would dislike it. So I knitted about that much of the bag before I said sod this for a game of silly buggers, excuse my language, and stuffed it in the timeout drawer for a very long time. And I kept thinking, I've really got to get that jumper made, because I will wear it loads when it's finished. I'm positive I will. But I just don't enjoy knitting it. Anyway, I forced myself once I gave myself enough of a guilt trip while we were on holiday to get on with it. I thought, get it done, and then you can wear it this autumn. So that's what I'm doing. Let me show you the pattern. I'm sure all will become clear when you see the yarn. It's a King Cole pattern. And it's this slouchy necked jumper. Now I'm not going to do long sleeves, I'm going to do a 3/4 length sleeve. But I have had to put quite a lot of length in the body because it was very short and I am very long. So the pattern is 3686 if you would be bonkers enough to want to knit this jumper. They also have a short sleeve version. And it has this nice cowl drapey neck. Anyway, when we got back from holiday, I made myself knit on it for so long each night. And I did really, really well with it. And I completed the back, which as you can see is humongous. It's black, it's holey, and the yarn is 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. But the drape is lovely, and you know, I really like wearing layers, and I like bright colours, and I love wearing bright colours under black showing through. So for instance, a top like this with this jumper over it and the top coming out at the bottom is right up my street. So I am enduring the knitting of this top so that I may have the finished object, but I haven't worked on it for a good couple of weeks now. So the yarn is Opium by King Cole. It's 50% acrylic, this is the yarn, 50% cotton, and as you can see it's this thick and thin slubby yarn. It has taken some getting used to. I'm a lot faster with it now than I was when I started. It's knitted on, mercifully, 7 mil needles? 6 mil needles. So I'm knitting it on Signature. No, they aren't Signature. What am I on about? I don't even own any Signatures. Symphonies. Knit Pro Symphonies. Interchangeable tips. Nice long cable. Very much needed. The bottom edge is ribbed, and that's done on a 4 mil, and it's a killer. Especially when you need to change from the 4 mil to the 7 mil. A 6 mil. So I've got this much done of the front. Now obviously, as you can see, I am not a woman of small stature, and I wanted a drapey garment, so I have a drapey garment. Very drapey garment. So yes, I haven't knitted on this for a couple of weeks, and I need to get on with it because I think the sleeves, touch wood, shouldn't take very long. So if I can get this front done, you know, once I get down and I get on with it and I have a good session at it, I can produce quite a lot quite quickly because it's very open and lacy and it's on a large needle. Really, I should have whooped this thing's ass, but it's just driving me mad. I hate knitting in black. What was I thinking? I so want the jumper. So it's sort of purgatory. Forever going in this catch-22 cycle. I will finish it. You've got to hold me to it. That's your job. Nag me to finish the horrid Opium jumper. It's like the Muller light. Was it Muller? No. Was it Muller Corner? It was a yogurt advert in the 90s, and it had Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer in it, and it went, and they went, pleasure, pain, pleasure, pain. That's what this jumper's like. The end result will be pleasure, but the making of the damn thing is pain. Enough said. You get the idea. Anyway, onwards. I wanted to show you another pretty little thing which was made for me by my older sister Wendy. Both of them are amazing sewers. I'm not. Everybody in my family tells me off when I say things like that because I'm capable of sewing. But as I've already said before, I just don't enjoy it. But Wend has made me this really, really cute little handy pack tissue pouch. And I keep it in my handbag here. inside is the pack of tissues, and what you do is you just get a knife or a pair of scissors and you slip the packaging open so you don't have to faff with the little thing. And then you just pop your fingers in there and pull one out when you want. And this is leftovers of that bunny fabric that I had my Easter bag made out of. Totes adorbs, right? I'm very lucky to get all these little treats. So that's that. Other new acquisitions. Two things. Well, sort of two things. Whilst we were on holiday, we went to Bodnant Gardens because we were visiting North Wales, and Bodnant Gardens is National Trust property. It is a house as well, but you don't think you can gain access to the house. I think that's private. I don't know if people still live there. Anyway, the gardens are amazing and we absolutely love visiting them. They also have a really nice garden centre which you can go to visit without going into the gardens and paying entrance. And there is also a craft centre there, which is not, I don't think it's part of the National Trust, it's an individual separate entity. Anyway, as part of that craft centre, there is the Hafford Gallery. There's actually sand in this packaging. Hayford? I'm not sure. Let me show you the logo. Can you see that? Yeah. And I chatted to the man who owns the gallery, well, part owns it with his business partner, and they are both fantastic photographers, and they have a range of greetings cards and prints of photographs available for you to buy very reasonably. And some of them are taken by the two business owners, and some of them are taken by other photographers, some local, some national. I'm not sure if there are any international ones. Anyway, they had these beautiful cards, greetings cards, and they were 4 for £10, which I thought, you know, you probably couldn't buy 4 birthday cards from like Clinton's or whatever for 10 quid. You know, not nice quality cards. Fair enough if you went to Card Factory, I know you could, but these are really individual. And each of them has some sort of local provenance. And I bought them partly just because I love them, partly because I want to send them to people probably, but also partly because the colours are really inspiring to me. The first one, it's not so much for the colours, but it's just an absolutely beautiful photograph. Everybody knows I'm a cat girl, and this is just called Cat on a Wall, and this, I believe, is either a Norwegian forest or a Maine Coon. Sorry, they're in the cellophane, so Maine Coon possibly, and this is actually the photographer's cat. Now this one, obviously they are international as well, because this one was taken in Eastern Maryland, USA. Isn't that beautiful? This is one of my dream cats. I'd absolutely love a Maine Coon or a Norwegian forest cat. One day maybe. So that was the first one. But the other 3, I really bought them because the colours of them were so inspiring. So this one is Pink Jewels, and they are jewel anemones. May be abundant, what's it say? Jewel anemones may be abundant underwater on suitable exposed rock surfaces around Britain and Ireland. Now, when I show you this, I think you might be surprised, as I was, to find that this was a local cold water creature, because it looks so tropical. Just look at that. I thought this was like proper coral reef stuff. Anyway, I just love the way the tips of that anemone, they seem to sparkle. They're almost a light. And the colours in it, the purples and the pale peachy orange and the pink. Oh, so pretty. I just love looking at that so much. I might actually frame these together. The next one is, it's the light in this one that does it for me. In fact, it's the light in both of these. These are both landscapes. This one is, I can't say it in Welsh, I'm sorry, Field Boundaries by Paul Kay. Light, just look at it, it's so luminescent, the fields are glowing. I know it's a bit glary, but oh, I could just look at this all day. It's so autumnal and illuminated. I love anything autumnal. I can see yarn screaming to be dyed in this card. And this final one is a far more wintry scene. And this is Bangor Pier. And this is another Paul Kay photograph. And again, oh, this isn't really doing it justice. Delicate lilac of those mountains. And sort of glowing almost burgundy of the trees. And then all these sort of beautiful light blues and things in the foreground. I just thought that was absolutely smashing. So I was very happy to buy 4 of these cards and support a local small business and a couple of local artists. And I might dye some yarn inspired by them because the colours just spoke to me so much. And it's not that often that I actually get really excited by photography. I've got to say, it's not one of my usual... If I want to go and look for colour inspiration, I wouldn't go looking in photo galleries generally. That wouldn't be where I would normally go. Anyway, speaking of colour addiction, I recently discovered a website courtesy of a friend on Instagram. I love nail varnishes. I always like to have nice sparkly nails, especially on my toes, because what's underneath them is so horrible. Anyway, I've recently been concerned by a lot of the ingredients that are in a lot of mainstream nail varnishes, things like formaldehyde. There's 5 really nasty chemicals that are commonly found in nail varnishes, which are known to be bad for us and leach through our nails and into our systems. But it is perfectly possible to make nail varnish without these chemicals. And I discovered this website called Rainbow Collection, I think. From said friend on Instagram, Kitshiana, her name is. She's always showing lovely pictures of her nails, painted all different colours. And I think that none of the makers on this website of nail varnish use any of these toxic 5, the big 5 they call them. I can't remember what they all are. I just know that formaldehyde's amongst them. Oh, getting uncomfortable, sorry. I really ought to have a better chair to sit on when I'm doing this. Excuse my hair, it's extremely messy. It's ready for a trim. Going on Saturday. I'm having a trim and I'm having some highlights. So next time you see me, I'll be a bit more tidy and colourful. Blonde. Anyway, shut up, Suzanne. I've only bought one of the 2 nail varnishes that I bought, but the other one is on my fingers. So I thought I'll show you that on my fingers. And I'm not showing you this one on my toes because I'm not a contortionist. So this one is made by Femme Fatale. And they do a colour of the month. And this colour is called Hoarfrost. And it's so pretty. Just look at that. It's so full of glitter. It's this lovely sort of blue-green emerald with all this holographic glitter in, all different sizes. And it's great because usually I would put the colour on that I want, and then I would put at least 1 or 2 layers of glitter on top of that to achieve that effect. but I've not had to do that because it's all just in here. And I will be going back for more nail varnish. I'm going to have a massive clear out. I've got a big tub full of nail varnishes and I'm going to go through it all. I've got a list of all the mainstream nail varnish producers that don't include those particularly dangerous chemicals, and I'm going to wang any of them that don't meet my stringent requirements. And I'm going to just replace them slowly and steadily with nail varnishes which are safe, and some of them will be from this website. Now, I'm not saying a lot of them will be because they're not very cheap, but they are all indie makers like me, and that's why I want to. And do you know what? Because they're indie makers, the colours are so, the ranges and the inspirations. There's a range that's inspired by pirates, and there's the mixtures of all different effects, duochromes and glitters and holograph and flakies and all these different things, and they're just so much more individual and original than nail varnishes that you can buy mainstream. I've been really disappointed. One of my favourite nail varnish makers is Barry M Cosmetics. I don't know if that's only UK based or whether you can get that in Europe or in the States or anywhere, but certainly it's very popular in Britain, and it has been since I was a teenager and a kid really. And they are known for making cruelty-free cosmetics, and they also make nail varnishes that don't have those bad chemicals in them, and they also usually have a really wide range of colours and effects. Recently they've got a much bigger bar display unit in Superdrug, which is where I usually go to get it from, but it's got a lot of other stuff and far less nail varnish. They always had such an expansive range. Can't stop leaving that stupid tufty bit alone. And it seems to have really reduced and been limited. I don't know if it's just in our store, it could well be. But anyway, so I've been a bit disappointed by that, Barry M. And the other one that I bought is a Colours by La Rowe, and that's LLROWE. And the colour is called Friends, and it's really subtle but really pretty, and I don't think this light is doing it justice. I might try and take a photograph of it and put it on Instagram. It's going really yellow. Why is it doing that? I'll do it a bit further away, look. And it's really pretty, sort of minky grey, silvery, with like undertones of pink glitter in, and it's just so pretty. So that's that. Right. Okay, final lot of acquisitions. Do you remember some months ago that I went for a trip up to White Hart Studio, and I bought myself these 3 skeins of West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Gems, 100% Wensleydale. Yes, I'm glad you remember that. I was in a quandary because there were so many beautiful colours. I was going to do a 3-colour shawl with these, but I just kept seeing every time I went up there or looked online or anything, kept seeing all the other fantastic colours and thinking, I don't want to just stick with these 3, I want more colours. So last time I went up there for a workshop, I was extremely poorly. And I managed to battle through. I got a temperature, my fibro was flaring, I was in pain, it was a crappy. I mean, the day itself went really well and everybody had a really nice time, but boy did I feel crap. Anyway, I rewarded myself with this. And this. And this. Ooh. And this. Oh, they're so beautiful. Excuse me. So these beauties are going to be a faded rainbow jumper, cardigan, not sure yet, but I'm going to make a knitted, probably top down, boxy jumper, I think, and I'm going to fade the colours in the very popular style by striping the two together before moving on to the next colour. I need to do some maths before I can start doing this, because I need to work out what percentage to leave, how much of each one to do and how much to save over for the sleeves basically. But that's that. And this is another impetus, another reason for me to have the impetus to complete this pain in the backside, because I cannot start another garment until I have finished this one. Anyway, that aside, I don't know what pattern I'm going to use yet. I keep looking at them. I keep thinking top down raglan, and then I keep thinking no, don't do that, because that doesn't lend itself very well to boxiness particularly. I don't know. I can't decide. So I'll keep cogitating and thinking and working that one through, and as soon as, really sorry, I'm so tired. As soon as I've decided that, I will tell you. So finally, on to Green Lambkin goodies. I brought this one over to show you, but then realised I've already showed you Deesa's Dream. But that's another little snapshot of it anyway. So that's that one. I have another new colourway, which I am absolutely in love with. Cannot wait to use this. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for. I've got to have a skein of this. There are no two ways about it. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. I'll probably use it with something else in a shawl. This is Ianthe. I didn't show you this one before, did I? Did I? Oh, I can't remember now. Anyway, it's turquoise and lilac. Oh, I love the way the turquoise and the lilac have blended there. Turquoise and lilac and very dark purple and lime green yumminess. So there's Ianthe, and this is available in my Etsy shop as we speak. And the last thing I want to tell you about is a little new venture which me and two of my local indie dyeing friends have started out. I can't remember if I mentioned this briefly before, but myself, Green Lambkin Yarns, and Carrie of Peak District Yarns and Annie of Wild Spinster have clubbed together, and we have created this little ensemble, this little grouping we're calling Derbyshire Dyers. And what's going to happen, what is happening, is that every last Sunday in the month, I believe, we are having a market night. So if you haven't already done so, go and find Derbyshire Dyers, please, on Etsy, Instagram, and on Facebook. We have fantastic pages, and what's happening is every month we are going to have an inspiration point, a starting point to work from. So the first one, seeing as I wear Derbyshire Dyers, we thought we'd best go with a Derbyshire theme. So just out of the blue, I plucked the idea of doing Bess of Hardwick. Hardwick Hall is an extremely famous stately home in Derbyshire, in northeast Derbyshire. Right, you can see it as you're going up the M1 just past junction 29. If you're ever coming up the M1 in my neck of the woods. And Bess of Hardwick was part of the Cavendish family, who also built and owned Chatsworth House to this day. And she was also closely related to the Stuarts, and her granddaughter was Arbella Stuart. So we all dyed some special one-off colourways. The theme was Bess of Hardwick, and with that we all went in different directions, which was fantastic. And then on the last Sunday of June, we had a market night, which was fantastic, and we all sold some yarn. I do have some left. I'm going to show them to you tonight because I'm just really proud of them and I love them. And if anybody is interested in having them, they are still available. I'm not going to be listing them on Etsy. These are one-off colours and I won't be doing them again. So if you want any of them and you really like them, just send me a message and we can arrange something. So I dyed 3 colours, and the first one is called Lockie's Bess, and this is based on a painting of Bess of Hardwick done by a man whose name was Lockie, and I'm sorry, I can't remember his first name. It might have been William. But the picture is very stark and very hard. I think she must be in mourning. She had 2 husbands. So her hair was bright red, really ginger. So it's not showing very well because it's dark. I'm sorry. But we have some very bright rusty orange, a very pale salmony pink colour which is hiding inside. Let me get this open so I can show you properly. So salmony pink for her skin, the golden oranges for her hair, the white of her ruff, the pink of her cheeks and her lips, a sort of pinky red stain, and then over-dyed with the overwhelming, really, black of the dress and the background of the painting. I always said photo then. So that's Lockie's Bess, and I love it, really love it. I'm going to keep a skein of these for myself because I'm just really proud of them. The second one is based on a painting of Arbella Stewart when she was a child, and she's holding a little dolly wearing a red gown, and she's got a very pale, like goldeny, beigey coloured dress which is covered all over with these bright embroideries and pinks and reds, and then she's also got this red fiery hair. Arbella Stewart's a really, really interesting character with a lot of history. She was very fiercely protected by Bess of Hardwick because she was a direct heir to the throne, and so Bess looked after her in her childhood very carefully after her parents died, but then she eloped and married, I can't remember who she married, someone. Anyway, they were captured, kept in, I think it was in the Tower of, you know, I've read all this history but I can't remember any of it. My brain. Anyway, they ended up living out their whole married life in captivity because they had committed some kind of offence by getting married. I can't remember. I'm terrible. Anyway, I found it really interesting when I was reading about it, and the painting of her is beautiful. So it's a very similar sort of colour scheme to the Bess colour, but a lot more vibrant. This is Baby Arbella. So it has the red of the and the plums of the dollies and the embroideries, and this goldeny, orangey colour of the hair, flamey hair, and then the pinks and the peaches of her little baby rosebud lips, and it's just a very sumptuous picture and a very sumptuous yarn with the raspberries and the plums and the all golden oranges. I'm really, really in love with this one. I love it so much. And as I say, I have some of this left, if you're interested in any. And the third one was inspired by the gardens of Hardwick Hall, which are incredible. And it's a National Trust place again, so if you're members, get on it. It's brilliant. It's really worth a visit. The house is amazing. It's amazing Tudor property, full of interesting stuff. And the gardens are gorgeous. There's like an apothecary's herb garden, and there's a stumpery, and there's even a fairy village and all sorts. The kids love it there. Anyway, the walled gardens have fantastic herbaceous borders, and I love visiting all different times of the year because there's always something to see. There are medlar trees there. There are oh God, what are they called? Really old fruit tree. Really old. It's an avenue of fruit trees. They're like a bit like a blackberry or a raspberry or a tayberry, but they grow on a tree and they have this really intense dark, like once they're ripe they're like that kind of colour, and the juice drips out of. Why can't I remember what they are? Do you know? Fibrofog, this is what it is. It'll come back to me. Anyway, I was talking about the gardens. The herbaceous gardens are absolutely beautiful. When you approach the hall, there's like a long pathway in the middle going up with lawns, very manicured lawns on either side of it, and then long herbaceous gardens going around the sides and the back. And they have beautiful herbaceous planting. And then there's a wall, and on the other side of that wall are more formal gardens, orchards. They have an amazing dahlia display every year in a long border. There's loads to see, it's beautiful. Anyway, this is inspired by a photograph of one of the herbaceous borders. So it's rather muted greens with a selection of quite vibrant pinks, yellows and purples. And again, this is on the sparkle sock base. I also have some of this on the classic sock base, which is just 75 merino, 25 nylon. So you can see there's quite a nice blend of purples into pinks and yellows scattered through with all these different greens. And again, I'm very enamoured with this and I have some left. So if you are enamoured also, let me know and we can come to an arrangement. So that's it. I am very happy with the dyeing for the first Derbyshire Dyers market night. And the next one will be in the last Sunday of July, which I cannot tell you the date of at the moment, but I will be prepared for it the next time. I already know the theme though, and I'm excited about this. It's Summer Nights. I've got lots of thinking to do. Just makes me want to sing Summer nights make me feel fine, drifting like thinking in my mind. Do 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 do. I can't remember the words either. I'm just really crap at remembering anything. But anyway, you know what I'm on about. I don't think it's even Summer Nights, is it? It's just what keeps coming into my head. Dearie me, I am very tired. I'm going to end it here because I think I've told you everything I can and I'm really just bibbling on about nothing now, aren't I? Hopefully I'll be back to my normal recording schedule and I will be here next Monday morning with a little bit of luck and a fair wind. Until then, my darlings, I shall say ta-ta, night-night, sweet dreams, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!